My name is Siddharth Shenoy. I'm the president of Bombay Industries Association, also known as BIA. Our webinar today is to understand how a symbiotic relationship between industry and academia can be created through this internship program. To shed light on the subject, we have a panel of distinguished speakers here with us today. To begin today's webinar, I would like to introduce our BIEC star member, Mr. Aslam Sheikh. Aslam is leading the BIA Academia initiative for us. He is an award-winning student advisor and international education expert. He's also the founder and CEO of Alif. So Aslam, if you could take over, and thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, President, for being kind with your introductions. So I'm honored to introduce our first speaker for this magnificent event, Ms. Jacque Lutz. Hello, Jackie. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, just to introduce her quickly, Ms. Lutz has got two nationalities, British and Swiss. She has an elaborative background in the field of education and communication. She represents Glion Institute of Higher Education that ranks #3 worldwide for hospitality as well as employer reputation. She is working as a head of career and internship of Glion for 10 years and leading the team to offer an enriching experience to both students and industry. I will quickly invite our Vice President, Mr. Sanjay Shah, to take it further.
Hi, everybody. This is Sanjay Shah, Vice President of BIA. I would like to introduce a professor for 24 years at MITI, who has worked as an associate professor there. His passion is marketing, advertising, business development, and branding. He is a PhD in advertising, MBA in marketing, MPhil in industry and labor, MCom in accountancy, PhD guide in the area of commerce at the University of Bombay, author and co-author of 73 books, 22 research papers published, branding consultant, Dr. Parag Ajgaonkar, principal of NM. Please welcome Dr. Parag.
Thank you, sir.
Neville bhai, if you introduce.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Neville Sangvi. I'm Vice President of BIA. I would like to introduce today's panelist, Sachin Shah. He is a third-generation entrepreneur and the managing director of the KEW group of companies, a group involved in manufacturing low-voltage electrical switchgears. Mr. Sachin Shah graduated from Mumbai University with a degree in mechanical engineering, after which he pursued his MBA from the University of New York. He is the past president of BIA and has been actively involved at Bombay Industry Association since last 17 years. Besides BIA, he is an active in number of social and industrial institutions, and he is also managing committee of IMC Chamber of Commerce. I would like to invite Mr. Sachin to today's discussion. He will be representing the industry today. He'll be representing all of us. Thank you. I'd like to ask Mr. Ashish. Dr. Rajesh. Yeah.
Good afternoon, friends. This is Dr. Rajesh Doshi here, and it's a great honor to introduce Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai. He's the Deputy Director, Masters in Leadership Science, University of Mumbai, Department of Chanakya International Institute of Leadership Studies. He's India's #1 business writer, best-selling author of Corporate Chanakya and Chanakya series. Dr. Pillai is the founder director of Chanakya Institute of Public Leadership. He has done an extensive research on Kautilya's Arthashastra, the well-known book on management written in the 4th century BC from Chinmaya International Foundation, Kerala, under the guidance of Dr. Gangadharan Nair. He later proceeded to do his MA in Sanskrit and a PhD in the subject Kautilya's Arthashastra. Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai is a well-known management speaker, trainer, author, and strategy consultant with nearly 25 years of experience. He has received International Sardar Patel Award as well as the Avishkar Chanakya Innovation Research Award. Dr. Pillai is considered one of the top 30 Indian management thinkers globally by Thinkers 50. And so far he has authored about 17 books. So with this brief introduction, I present to you Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai, and he is the moderator for today's event. And Dr. Radha, I request you to please take over. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rajesh Doshi. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, the whole BIA team. It's an honor to actually be a part of this particular program where I have one leg in the industry and the other leg in the academia. And it's a beautiful session to moderate where we will be discussing with three experts who have been already introduced. And this whole thing is very futuristic. It's a program that will benefit not only industry, not only academy, but the future generation of students. So it's a great privilege to take this discussion forward. And I promise to both the academia and the industry from BIA and also from the Mumbai University that this will be an actionable program. So many times we discuss, but discussion is not enough. So I think we are all people who are serious about taking this discussion forward. With that, I would like to keep my role short because moderators are supposed to moderate. So I would be asking all my three expert panelists to be actually giving their views. So the format is going to be, I'll be asking one question, which all three of them would be answering. And then I will be asking a specific question to three of them. Afterwards, we have a Q&A. So all the participants can actually contribute to the discussion. You can ask questions. And finally, we'll wind up in time. So friends, with that particular thing, I would like to ask all the three panelists about this program itself, the initiative that has been taken by the Bombay Industry Association. You are all experts from either academia or industry. And what's your view on this particular theme that we are working on, academia-industry partnership? And specifically, what we are calling today's session as 3C, which is basically connecting classroom to the company. So let's start with our lady, Jacqueline ma'am. I would like to know, you are our international speaker. You've already been specializing in this particular field. I'd like to have your views on this particular topic and theme itself, ma'am.
Thank you very much for that introduction and for your question. So, I represent Glion Institute of Higher Education, which is a hospitality university where we train and form professionals for the industry and have been doing for over 60 years now, almost 60 years rather. So, our curriculum, internship is a very central part of our curriculum and always has been. Our students have very close connections to the industry, the hospitality industry and related industries, not just hotels in terms of hospitality, but related. If I can give you some background to what our courses are, they are hospitality bachelor and master's degrees. But a hospitality degree actually opens up many doors. It opens up doors to very many customer-related, client service-related industries. It could be banking, it could be luxury industries, it could be events. All these things are very customer-oriented, and our students with their background are very much prepared to take leading roles in these industries. And how do we prepare them? Well, the connection with the industry, as I said, is very central to our curriculum. We are a center of applied learning, and the application of that learning, for example, in the bachelor program, every student, the bachelor program is 7 semesters. 2 of those semesters will be carried out in the industry. As a hospitality school, our first semester on campus is very practically oriented. The students will learn all the basics of hospitality, and then they will immediately go out into the industry to consolidate that training and to put it into practice in a professional environment. They will come back, do another couple of semesters of academic work, and then they will go out again for another 24-week period to do something of a little more administrative, supervisory level, so a higher level internship. And they come back then to finish their degree with 2 further academic semesters.
Oh.
Master students will also have always an internship, but at the end of their program. So for 2 academic study semesters, they will then complete with an internship. What does this mean for the students? It means they are very industry ready by the time they graduate. It means they have already built a network. They know how to behave. They have done that accompanied by the school and by their training managers within their internships. So they have a very good base to be launching a career.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's very, very good to know that you are actually preparing the industry academic partnership from day one, not just the last semester. Typically,
absolutely.
So that's a very good learning for all of us over here in India and Mumbai also. Thank you so much for that. The same question now goes to one of the academic stalwarts, Dr. Parag. Dr. Parag, you just heard about his introduction. He's been doing so much research work, published so much work. But he's also heading an education institution where we find placement is also something that we are all working on. Dr. Parag, what's your view on academic industry's partnership and this particular session?
Thank you. Now let me start with some statistics. Industry considers only 20% of the graduates as employable. At NM, we have a training and placement cell. Around 150 students apply for the training and placement. Around 60 to 70% are absorbed. Now, why is there this difference? What we do at our college. Now, basically, we have programs like BCom, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Management Studies, Bachelor of Accounting and Finance, Bachelor of Financial Management, and so on. Now, basically, in case of BCom, NM College is known as CA Factory. Now, 60% of our students pursue chartered accountancy. And now, and you must be aware that in chartered accountancy, internship, or they call it articleship, is embedded. It's an integral part. And our students, since 60% of those students are actually doing internship. This is, we have around 2,500 students in BCom. So 60% of them are pursuing chartered accountants, so 60% have this internship. Coming to other programs like BMS, etc. Now, they don't have any mandatory internship as such. But what we do, we insist. Even university does not have an internship as a compulsory program, a part of the curriculum. But what we do, we insist that during their summer break, the students should undertake internship. So this can be for 1 month, 2 months. It can even, in fact, it goes throughout the year. But when it is throughout the year, we try to strike a balance between the academics and the internship, because they should not lose out on studies. So there, our experiences, and that is, even though that is not mandatory, but we keep on insisting, and our experience is 50 to 75% of the students are doing internship. And once they come back, what we do in TY, for example, in BMS, they have a project. We insist that whatever internship you have experience you present a 100 marks project, which is now 100 marks is mandatory from university, but we see to it that whatever he or she has learned at the in the industry, he or she has to make a project and make a presentation. So automatically that incentive of marks is there. So by and large, 60 to 70% of students get placed. Then coming to internship, coming to this program, this is a very good initiative. Now, a study done by Skill India, by AICTE, 84% of the students need internship, but only 37% of the industry at present is offering internship. So there is a huge gap between what the students want, and so demand-supply gap is there. So there is a huge potential here. So this is a very good initiative. In fact, if you want to breach the gap between industry and academia, and if you want to ensure that employability increases across, this internship should be embedded in the curriculum. Now, maybe there are many colleges which are becoming autonomous. So this sort of association with industry can take us forward. That is what I want.
That's so nice, Dr. Parag. For all the people who are listening, you may be aware that Nursi Monji College, NM, of which is a principal, is a very well-known college of Bombay. People look for forward for admissions, but what is guaranteed is that, students are hand-holded. It's a role model college of the Mumbai University. Thank you, Parag sir, for also sharing this with your statistics. That's been very, very important. After two academicians, we have the industry representation. And what I like is, when I was speaking to Neville, he was saying that, this has to become a part of the curriculum. I know that it has to be not just a project, but as Dr. Parag said, somewhere we have to imbibe it in the curriculum. It's of the internship is a must, which we just saw from Jacque Madam also. Now coming back to the industry, third generation industrialist, Shashin sir, what's your view about this academy industry partnership and this program?
I think it is a fantastic initiative which we are trying to begin with, because particularly it is a win-win situation between both the students as well as the industry. To talk from an industry perspective first, being representative of the industry, I will talk from an MSME industry perspective, which I in person represent. So what will the students bring as a value to the industry? How will the industry look forward to hiring interns? There are certain things which I feel that the students can definitely bring on the table. To begin with, the students get a new perspective of thinking. As small to medium enterprise runners, we typically think in one direction, the way we've been running our businesses all these years. I think that is the right way of handling things and the right way of handling a problem. So we get a fresh, young blood into the issues. They will think from an out-of-box solution. They will think with a fresh perspective. That can help us get a new directive or a new direction towards our business. One more interesting fact which we can bring on the table is the ease with which they use technology. Typically, entrepreneurs of our generation are not that well adapted to the new technologies. To give you small examples like social media promotions, digital marketing, or as simple as IT enabling of processes. Yeah. The young generation today is tech savvy. Every college student has his Twitter handle, Facebook handle, Instagram handle, YouTube channels. So it's in their DNA. If we can get them on board, use these skills of theirs, which we lack and they are good at, it can help both of us. More so, I feel it can also be, it's basically a trial between him and us. If things work out, it can also be a long-term future prospect for either of us as a career option. One biggest key takeaway, which I personally can tell from my own experience, is that those interns can be the biggest and best brand ambassadors for our company. If he works in my company, if he's satisfied, if he's impressed, if I can be a mentor to him, I can teach him a few things, I can train him, I can guide him for his career, trust me, in his entire life, he will be the biggest brand ambassador that I can probably have in the market. We spend lakhs of rupees every year in terms of marketing. But the best marketing tool is word of mouth. And when it comes from the horse's mouth, people will appreciate, will recognize it. So in a way, besides getting work out of him, besides helping me, I can actually start creating brand ambassadors of the future. They are the young generation. They'll be in the market tomorrow. They'll be entrepreneurs. They'll be executives. They'll be people working in other firms. They will take my brand name out in the market and further promote it. So I feel it is a very good takeaway for the industry from the industry perspective. The interns can add a good amount of value. Vis-a-vis can also add a good amount of value for the interns also, wherein they can get first-hand experience of actually working in an environment. They've so far actually have the theoretical knowledge of how things can be done. They can actually apply that knowledge into a practical problem, a practical solution. And when they actually see it being implemented, it'll get them more confidence of how they can actually launch themselves in their career. So I feel it's a win-win situation, and primarily for them. So they've been handling pressures of a different kind, might be of their college submissions, might be of their exams. Here they will actually see industry pressures of how deadlines are met, how projects are executed. So I feel it will start getting them prepared for a better career, a better future. So I think it is a best proposal where the industry and the interns both can have a good amount of takeaways from it.
Shashin sir, I think you mentioned so nicely that at the end of it, you become a mentor and a teacher. Yes. So I think that is something industry should look forward to, not just as business leaders, but actually teachers to the next generation. You don't have to go to a college, just pick up a college intern and he becomes your student. I think that's a beautiful dimension. The other thing also I liked, Sharin sir, is also about digital media. And today many companies have digital media departments or social media departments. You know, we generally have the business which says, you know, marketing, then, you know, accounting and probably IT now. But I think that's a very beautiful point. And I like the way you put it. It's a win-win situation. So all industry leaders, if you want to be teachers, take interns. I think that's a beautiful message from your side. I go back to ma'am. You know, ma'am, first of all, thank you for being a part of this particular program, because you're giving us so much beautiful perspective about the hotel industry, and especially from Swiss. So, you know, it's a great learning for India also. And thanks, Aslam sir, for making this coordination happen. I have a specific question, okay, and maybe more related from an Indian standpoint. Should the college curriculum be refined for preparation of students to take up internship? Now, what I want to know specifically is that how does the Swiss model become so successful? Because that's the benchmark for many, you know, countries like us. So how is that model perfected over years with this particular partnership and internship model? If you can help us.
Yeah, I'll try. I think as a school, we have very close relationships with industry. A lot of our faculty come from the industry or have backgrounds in the industry, and we get very involved with the industry, and not just for internship. And this is maybe something that Shashin can relate to as well, is that as an employer of internship students, you can also get involved in the life of the university or the students. You can help shape the curriculum. You can, our students do project work for the employers. We develop that. It's not just an internship. It is more than that. It's a whole relationship that we develop with industry and that we nurture. And they appreciate this. They come on campus, they get involved, they ask us for projects, and we ask them for things back. So we develop this relationship. We have, if you check on our website, you can see we have industry representatives talking about our interns. And the very fact of coming on campus gives them additional, as employers, additional exposure to that wider public who are going to, in the future, be your big marketing tool, the people who will talk about you. And as Shashin has also mentioned, they're very talkative on social media. So they're talking about the people they meet, they're talking about your company. And so it's really a great, I would say it's more than a win-win. I would say it's a win-win-win. Because I'd like to involve the colleges in that as well. We are all winners in this relationship.
That's so amazing. Just an additional question to the same question, you know, you said something very nice. It's not just internship. So, you know, it starts with internship, but you talked about from internship to involvement. Okay, so like I would say from eye to eye. So it's not internship, getting the students at the first time, but you mentioned it so nicely. It's also involving the industry, the discussion that you have. Can you give any specific example from that strand? It's very interesting, ma'am.
So it's all about, as I say, relationship building. So wow. In the 7th semester here at Glion, our students will do either a thesis or an applied business project, so an ABP, for example, that they will do with directly for an industry partner. If I can mention an example, a couple of years ago, some of our students were doing a project with Kempinski. Okay, so Kempinski come along, and as again Shashin has mentioned, the students have a new take on things, new ideas, they're very tech savvy. So a company, in this case it was Kempinski, but it could be anyone, comes along with an idea. We're looking to develop our fidelity program. What ideas do you have? How can you do this? Our students will take that on board. It will be a project that they will do in total connection with the company, so there will be exchanges between the company and the students. The students will do that, and it will be graded. It will be part of their final grading for their project, for their degree. It will then become the property of the company, so the company can then use it. There are obviously agreements signed, non-disclosure, etc. The company can then put that into practice if they want to. And not only that, but they generally take a few of the students with them as for jobs as well, because they develop that relationship again. They see that the students work well, that they fit with the company, and etc. So as I say, there is much more than just internship involved in these relationships that are possible to build.
Very nice. From I to R, from internship
Exactly.
to involvement to relationship. And I like the point that you're also assessing them. And very important from an industry standpoint, I think, Neville, we should make a note of this, that the IP, the intellectual property, remains with the company. A lot of companies have this particular problem that, mere se seekh ke jaate, as we say in Hindi, I become a training institution, but the property, I think that's a very good model. We definitely want you to speak about it, and later on, we like to learn from you.
It's not specifically the internship, but it's something that spins, it's a spin-off kind of effect, So these relationships that we build, we also get the companies to come in and give guest lectures. They can get involved in classes. There's a lot that can be done. They come to graduation, maybe give the keynote speech at graduation. So very much involved in the life of the school. And one point that I would like to add I think Shashin mentioned is that you can, when you take interns, you can maybe gauge already some of your future employees. We find that students on their second internship, so on that more administrative, more highly developed internship, around 50% of them are offered jobs by the industry partner for when they graduate. So there's that is definitely something that is very potent and very important.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now we come back to Parag sir. Parag sir, one of the things that the industry may doubt, is that these people are fresh. They don't have idea about what my company is all about, and probably it's a time waster. Do you think that's a mental block? And do you think that with interns, we can actually trust them by actually giving them some challenges or real life problems which they can solve? What's your experience and view to this?
Whether it is intern or whether it is fresh graduates, then obviously they don't have any experience. But see, yes, lack of experience is there. But what we do, how we are trying to bridge this gap is, you are referring to curriculum. Let me just quickly harp on that. Now, since we have become autonomous, we have upgraded the curriculum. We have brought industry people. We have our alumni who are working in industry, so they are a part of curriculum. So 50-60% we have upgraded.
3 o'clock.
So that way we have bridged the gap. But the real challenge was till last year, because university did not allow us to change the curriculum. The curriculum was 25 years back. And the same curriculum now, and things have changed. Things have evolved. Now, how to bridge the gap? So what we did, we have 25 associations. Yeah, like for example, we have literary association, advertising and marketing. We have a Lensation club. So different type. Then we have Intent, which is a business plan competition. We have Umang. Umang is the biggest festival of Asia. Now, why I want to mention this. In case of Umang, there are around 500 to 600 students who are involved in organizing. It's a national level festival, which we are successfully running for 20 years. Now, how does it add value? There are around 72 to 75 events. Now, there are around 160 to 170 participants, colleges across. Now, the budget is in some lakhs. Now, everything has to be done by the students. And right from raising of the funds, right from deciding what should be the event, deciding 75 events, deciding planning, organizing, a lot of things are involved in that. So that is a sort of entrepreneurship. It's a sort of a mini which they have to undertake. And that process, we are there as mentors, we are there as guides. There are teachers who guide them. There is a committee, but all those things, coordination, etc., making various teams, marketing teams, etc., everything is done by the student. So what happens, and that process, the preparation goes for 4 to 6 months. So in short, they are involved for 6 months in a project. Now, obviously, by doing this, they get a lot of insight into how, what are the requirements of industry, how to start a new project, how to have a sort of a startup. So this is pertaining to curriculum. This is how we have added value. Then we have a program called Intent. For example, it's a business plan competition which spans over a period of 10 days. first 4 to 5 days we call industry experts. They guide people on various facets of industry, how to start a project and how to start a business, etc. Then actually we tell them to make a product. After they can purchase the product from the industry, and we give them a platform in college. They have to come and sell the product. So actually marketing experience they get. And then after that, in last 2 days, we call industry experts, we call investors. They have to make a presentation to the budding investors who, if they like the project, they can invest in that. And we had experience where industry has invested, they have liked the project, they have taken the project and they have invested more than ₹1 lakh. So over a period of, there are many such projects where 25,000 was invested, 50,000. So those are sort of projects. So that is how we have bridged the gap. Even though curriculum, it may not be embedded in the curriculum, it may not be at, if it is possible to improve the curriculum, fine, we can do that. But if not, there are ways out. But coming to this, another thing which you mentioned about as a fresher. Now, see, being a fresher, there are certain positives of it. The students are quite confident, quite brave. They are not afraid to experiment. So that is the greatest benefit. Then when they go to the organization, they change the work culture, make it very dynamic with fresh ideas, and especially for small and medium entrepreneurs where the number of employees are less and the teams are quite less, say 5 to 7 people in a team. So they become an integral part of the team, and not only they learn, but they also contribute a lot because they are fresh. They have a lot of theoretical background, conceptual knowledge is there. They are trying to bring in those ideas for discussion, and moreover, this generation is very tech savvy and they are very social media savvy. So, and now the promotion is through social media. And if you are able to effectively use social media, you can create a lot of positive opinion about the organization. And most of this generation, whether they have learned IT or not, they are quite comfortable using technology. So that also adds value. So yes, on one side, they may be freshers, but yes, if you can mentor them properly, if you can have proper guidelines as to what they should do and what they should not do. In fact, I have a list of students who are working in internship, and the area, quickly 3-4 areas I will mention: business development, financial analyst, they are working as social media intern, they are into digital marketing, investment analyst, so artist management. See the scope. And these are commerce students, but they can work in different areas. So a new fresh idea they also bring. And contrary to what we believe, these students now are quite well informed. They may not be, but they are quite informed, they are quite knowledgeable, they are quite confident, and they don't mind taking that. Yes, on if that energy, that raw energy which they have, if it is guided properly, mentored properly, obviously they will add a lot of input. And that is how, in fact, why these colleges have grown. They are all interns only, but these colleges have become brands. Why IIM has become a brand? Through this students only. They have created this brand. So if they can create brands at the college level, at the university level, I don't see any reason why they can't create brands at corporate level.
In fact, thank you so much, Paragji, because you spoke on so many aspects, not only about employability, but from E to E, entrepreneurship. So as ma'am told about I to I, you are talking about E to E, from employment to entrepreneurship. I'm so glad that everybody should look upon the model that Parag sir has been actually working on. Sir, I'm going to take your question to the next level with sir, that is Shashin sir. You talked about branding. That's one of the things that you have mastered. But actually students have this problem that they only want to work with brands. And Shashin sir, what is your suggestion? Why should a student prefer an SME or a MSME over a corporate? Because not everybody in the corporate would like to take students, and vice versa.
the world is full of opportunities beyond the Infosys and the Tatas. It's good if you work with them. But there is a problem with the branding of smaller organizations, smaller companies, smaller industries. So any suggestions that why are we not able to attract students, or what should we do to attract to smaller brands or upcoming brands? Shashin sir.
Just to talk on that, well, a typical, when an intern gets into a corporate company to do an internship, how the corporate structure typically works in an MNC or a large corporation is they have walls and boundaries. They have a departmental way of working. So typically, if an intern comes for a 3-month stint at, say, an Infosys or a Microsoft or a Reliance or a Tata, he will be placed in one particular department, and he'll be trained or taught whatever happens in that one particular zone or one particular department working. That's not how a typical MSME would work. MSMEs are typically companies where they don't have any boundaries or any walls, and there are multiple operations happening across the day. So a typical entrepreneur would probably be juggling his working between, say, his operations to purchases, to a little bit of marketing, to a little bit of taxation, so on and so forth. So here, typically, he gets an all-round 360-degree view of how the business works.
Yeah.
One key skill set which any intern or any person should normally have in today's day and environment is multitasking. Be it working in a corporate structure or be it working in a small scale structure, that is a key asset which he needs to have. That is something which he can develop while working in a small company. Because here, he can himself see the entrepreneur under whom he's working, juggling between various activities, various tasks on the same day. So if somebody is looking at an all-round development of himself, to get an all-round view of how the businesses work, to learn multiple aspects of businesses, to see how things can be managed at one point of time, that is something which he can learn from a small-scale sector. A 3-month or a 6-month stint in a corporate company might not give you this learning. He might get a big brand name on his resume that he's probably done an internship with a particular company, but his own individual personal development of the individual, which can actually be an asset for him, much more than the one brand name on his resume, is what he can probably get from a small-scale company. One more key thing which I can probably talk of the current generation is, as you would have read in the newspapers, more and more college graduates are now becoming entrepreneurs themselves. So as we are typically taught in our Gujarati families, our fathers have taught us that if somebody is paying you, say, a 5 lakh salary, he's going to make sure you earn 50 lakhs for him. So if you're capable of earning 50 lakhs, why don't you work for yourself and earn that for yourself? So all the smart students that today are getting that information. They're learning that themselves. You see these startups coming up all over the place. But why are these startups failing? If you've actually gone into the details, it's not the idea or the concept which is failing. These kids have fantastic ideas. They have the concept. They have what they want to do. But the implementation of how to actually convert that idea into a doable, workable company is what they're lacking. If they have got an experience or internship with a small scale company where they've seen this entire all-round working as to how a business actually runs, that can actually help the today's generation actually be more effective and more successful in the startup ventures also. So a typical small scale environment will give them an all-round learning experience rather than just a big brand on their resume, because the big brand will give them a learning experience for sure, but that's going to be only in one particular field. Well, here he's exposed to multiple fields, which also will give him a better opportunity to probably select which field of business was he probably more suited for or where his choice or his liking is. And just in case, if he actually decides to be an entrepreneur, he's actually spent some time with an entrepreneur, see what his lifestyle is, see how is he working, get a hands-on experience, and then he can take a call whether he's fitted for it or not.
And that's a beautiful point, sir. In fact, I just want to add one more thing when you're speaking, that you also have direct access to the owner and the owner's family.
More than that, the owner would have probably 25, 30 years of experience behind him. So you actually get this whole library of 30 years of experience which you can learn out of.
So when you're in Infosys, you may not get access to Narayan Murthy, but you may get a 3 generation sitting with that owner and his son. I think that's a very beautiful point. So I think that's a great learning. Friends, I think these 3 stalwarts cannot be, compartmentalized only as industry academic expert. They're bringing in lifetime and generations of experience. Unfortunately, the time tells us we have to somewhere stop, but don't worry, we're not going to stop immediately because we are going to allow all our participants to actually get a chance to ask questions. So please do it in the chat box. If there is somebody moderating, or I can also moderate, but the whole idea is that please put in your chat box. But before you put it in the chat box, it can be specific to the person whom you want to address it to, maybe ma'am or both of us, sirs, or it could be generic also. So I'll try and moderate that out. The other important thing is, as you're typing the question, there are already suggestions from both sides. Okay, so the academia is telling that, you know, we have students ready, but there are two industrialists who are actually telling us that, you know, okay, I would like to come and teach in colleges. So my experience, so there are people who would like to come and teach in colleges. So Parag sir, we have some industrialists ready to come and take some lectures, guest lectures. On the other side, and we also have people saying, I want interns. So it's a win-win situation. So I think we already succeeded with the program, but the program is just the beginning. So I will request all of you to put your questions on the chat box, and we'll try and cover up as much as possible. Okay, so we have a question coming from Aisha Singara. It says, Aisha says, hello, is this for first year students or second or third year? Now this is something with which year kind of students are we talking about? Would Parag sir would like to give an answer to this?
Generally, this is second and third year students.
Okay.
But generally, after they clear their second year, either summer placement, because why we keep that? Because in third year they have a project, and in third years another thing is students, companies come for placement. So this is the period where internship. And in case of articleship of CA, that is a 3-year internship, which also is after second year. So basically, the age of the student is around 20. Okay. Then most of this internship takes place.
And that's a lovely thing that, you know, generally it is for second year and third year student. But I like to bring in Jacque ma'am over here. She said, you know, they involve with the students right from the beginning. So if you're looking at a 2-year program or a 3-year program, ma'am, in your hotel industry specifically, does it start from the year 1 itself, or it's towards the end?
Jacque, you're on mute.
Yeah.
So in our bachelor program, we have 2 internships, as I said, and the first one takes place very early on in the first year. It's actually the second semester. And it's very practical based. Hospitality, as I've said, is an applied learning, and it's very much doing, and it's learning by doing. So we consider it very important that the students get that initial contact with industry very early on in their educational background. And they will then expand on that in a second internship. So sometimes you will see students going with the same company back to for a second internship with the same company, or they get to discover a different company. And I think the good thing about this is they get 2 different perspectives, and we will advise them to maybe go to a smaller company for one, go to a corporate for the other, in order to get those different perspectives on the industry and what's available for them. They will also then see maybe where they feel more comfortable. Maybe some of them will feel a little bit out of their depth in a big company and prefer a smaller structure. So it's all about building their knowledge base while building their relationships with the industry, and also this connection with the industry that we continue to build on. And I think for all of us, employability is very important, and seeing that the students are connecting with the industry on 2 separate occasions during their studies, all helps that employability factor. The companies will then be thinking when they're employing, this is a Glion student, or this is a Glion graduate. I know Glion because I've had interns, and they will then are more likely to have our name in their minds when they're employing.
I think you bring in a very different perspective to we Indians also, because you said in the first year itself, maybe the second semester. So I think the first semester they're ready with the theory, then you're
the first semester they're on campus. We're teaching them the basics. They get a very intense practical teaching of all the different aspects of their program, and then they will go out and consolidate all that training in a professional setting. So yes, it's very early on, and the second internship will come at the end of the second year.
Yes.
Or after two full years.
Very nice, very nice. Let me put this question to Shashin sir in a different way. Would you prefer an intern who is 18-year-old or 21-year-old, both without experience? Whom would you choose from, or what would be your suggestion?
I would probably prefer a 21-year-old.
Okay.
Why specifically a 21-year-old? Because the 18-year both will get the exuberance of youth along with them. But the 21-year-old would be a more preferable candidate, specifically because at 18 years, he's got zero experience, zero technical knowledge, or zero knowledge of the field what he's going to be entering into. Mm-hmm. At 21 years, he's actually gone through some theoretical studies. He's taken a lot of classes, lectures. He's taken a lot of inputs in terms of theoretical knowledge. So at 21, he'll be ready to actually start looking at how we can apply that knowledge into the theory into practice. That'll actually be more effective at both ends. 18 would be too raw for him to start and take a dip into something which probably he's totally unaware of. Here, at least he has some basic knowledge of what is happening around, why it is happening. Though theoretical, he's ready to start shifting gears from theory to practice.
I think that's three different dimensions for the same question. Parag sir academically has perfected the model, and he said, it's more the second year, third year. Jacqueline ma'am says, let's start in the beginning. And sir says, little experience still is better for me to experiment. So I think it's very important. But remember one thing, that at the end of it, it is not just about the internship period, but who continues to contribute to the company. So I think it's an experiment for everyone. So the organization or the academia can help you with the first step to get you placed or intern. But the reality is that the company should be happy to offer you a full pay package, not a kind of a small fees just to take care of internship period. I think that's the challenge. I think somewhere the parents should also guide the students to be good interns, to become permanent employees or entrepreneurs in the long run. Thank you for your question. Questions are pouring in, but there is a very specific question that's been coming. It's saying that, Shashin sir, where could I apply for digital marketing interns? He's already trying to get you on the job. So where could I do it? What are the skills should I possess? So that's from Sri Joshi. I'm not sure whether it's a student or an industrialist or an academician. Where could I apply? So that shows that he wants to apply for a digital marketing. Specifically, is he asking to your company? You can answer it that way.
What I'll do is I'll actually have the BIA coordinates put on the chat. So what you could do is any interns would wanting to apply could apply to our association. Based on the skill sets and the kind of experience looking out for, we could probably patch you up with the right company who could actually have that kind of requirement where you could probably contribute. When it comes to skill sets for digital marketing, specifically for small scale companies, not a lot, because typically a small scale company would only have a website and nothing more beyond it. So what you would want to expect from an intern is to probably start with search engine optimizations, to make sure his website gets more visibility, start creating social media handles on LinkedIn, Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, start creating digital platforms where the company information can reach out to the masses in the digital format, and try and help to make it a sustainable activity. So I'm sure it won't be too technically challenging. With most of the youngsters of today's age probably might be pretty much geared up to cater to it.
Oh, thank you so much. By the way, we are all matchmakers over here. Okay, so the industry and the academic partnership. Good to see some marriages already happening over here. Okay, so we can see people offering jobs, people wanting to give lectures. So that's good success, right? So I think for the first program, this is phenomenal. Thanks to the BIA team, it's working. Okay, the marriages are happening. We should be invited for all the ceremonies also. So make sure you don't forget BIA, okay, when you do this particular marriage activity later on. Okay, we have a question specific to Parag sir. Parag sir, if you call industrialists to attend at NM College for some lectures, for example, marketing, Excel, PowerPoint, this will develop bonding between the industry and the college and faculty of digital marketing classes, etc. also. So basically, it's a mix of a comment and a suggestion along with a question. Saying that you've already been inviting stalwarts, you mentioned about Umang, but he's also talking about there can be specific technical things that you can help to, students.
I would like to add here. Yeah. We have in our self-finance program, we have around 45 visiting faculty, and they are mostly from industry. So we have tried to see that those specific subjects, like portfolio management, etc., one who has experience in the industry, because they can add a lot of value. So we have tried to balance that by having visiting and on a regular basis. It is not just for judging an event, but on a regular basis to entire curriculum, a particular subject, we have an industry. So we have around 45 of them.
Wow. Parag sir, my extended question is that you have a very, very strong alumni at NM, very strong and active alumni. Would you like to throw some light on that?
Yeah, we have, if my statistics, I don't have exact statistics, but to the best of my knowledge and information, we have around 15,000 chartered accountants.
Wow.
And they are, if you go to any finance firm across, invariably you will have an NMI. That is not, but we are not just confined to finance. Whether even in, take for example, film industry, we have Mr. Paresh Rawal, who is an MP. So then we have in the field of sports, Chirag Shetty, who won gold in Commonwealth badminton. So in different areas, we try to see to it that that holistic development of a student takes place.
Thank you so much for that alumni part of it. I also have a question to Jacque ma'am. How can one apply and identify the right program, the institute or university in Switzerland? You know, so that's a lot of people who want to go and study in your university. So how do you identify what is the right organization for me? And that can also be a general question to everyone, but specifically if I have to choose the right institution, what's your suggestion, ma'am?
Well, I would suggest research. I would suggest getting in touch with counselors who can give guidance. I think we have Aslam here who can help on that, on your side, in your country anyway. I know for us, we have advisors who are present in many countries. And I think the best solution would be to go through Aslam, or if anyone wants to address it to me, I can pass it to one of our counselors to talk to find out about the programs. So I would then suggest, doing some research, checking the different schools. There are a number of schools. Ours is obviously the best, but you need to find what suits you best, and you need to find what your long-term goals are, or at least your medium-term goals. If you want an international education, what kind of opportunities you want, what's your focus, whether you want to specialize in something. You have to ask yourself as a young student a few questions together with your parents. I think that's very important. And then research the different possibilities. And there are always people who would be ready to connect with you through the website. We can put you in touch with people on site. You can talk to them. We organize open days on campus. There may not be that many this semester, but they may turn into more virtual open days, in which case you can, take a tour of the school from the comfort of your own kitchen. I mean, there's many possibilities, but I think doing some research and finding out the best solution, the best option for you is my advice.
Thank you so much. We're going to send all the students to you, especially interested in the hotel industry.
Absolutely.
Definitely, I will request the BIA team to pass on the, the details of ma'am's institution, your contact details. They like to reach out to you. And please do counsel and handhold them, We look forward to that. Friends, very interestingly, there are a lot of suggestions coming in, but we don't have much time. And I still have a question to all my panelists, okay? But before I ask my last question to the panelists, there is some beautiful suggestion that's coming in. One of them is saying that's again Viresh Patel. Okay, Viresh Patel is specifically saying that interns looking to work with financial planning, I am open to share my 25 years experience. Okay, so here is another offer of saying that I'm ready. As Shashin sir said it beautifully, मैं अपना ज्ञान देने के लिए बैठा हूँ. So you said 25 years is almost like a lifetime of commitment. So all the guys, especially Parag sir, we have the finance guys at your college, the chartered accountants coming in. Hoteliers can definitely go to ma'am's college. But here we have the real people who are looking at actionables. Friends, let me ask the final question to all my panelists. Okay, one simple question, saying that if you were to give us one suggestion, one practical tip, how do we take this forward beyond just a webinar discussion? because we are all industrialists and academicians who value time, we value money, and we value our experience. So what's your suggestion? One simple tip from all three of you, starting with ma'am.
One simple tip for what precisely? I'm not following your question.
How do we take this discussion forward beyond just, the internship and academy? Any particular suggestion that you have? How do we take this forward after this particular program?
How do we take this forward?
Okay, you can do a little bit of a thinking if you want.
Just let me think about it a little.
No problem. So let me go to Parag, sir.
We are open for MOUs with BIA and its, so that would be a sort of collaboration which would be win-win for everyone.
Very nice. So see, that's a very practical thing on paper. Let's do it. Let's take it forward. I think that's a very nice suggestion, Parag sir. And with Parag sir, he already knows the process of it. It's not that, it's first time from him. So we definitely look forward for a very nice MOU to take this work forward. Sir, the industry expert, Shashin sir, what's your view?
So we jolly will accept Parag sir's offer. We'll definitely sign an MOU with him to begin with.
So another marriage finalized, okay?
Take it further from the small scale sector also. At BI, what we intend to do is actually create a complete module where we can do a complete handholding from the student side to a complete induction process, which we can give as a package to our members. That's how they can induct these interns into their companies. What should they expect from and what the interns can expect out of them. So we can do a good amount of hand-holding, create a complete induction and a training program for them. So we can make those 3 months become a wholesome experience for both the students as well as the companies.
Yeah, I got it. So I think can be two models. One is BIA with the whole industry, but I think company to college. So I think what's very specific over here, you said, sir, you are ready, Shashin sir, and Parag sir is ready. So that can be one MOU directly one-to-one, or it can be the body itself, So I think it's a great suggestion that if you actually found your girl over here, go and propose and finalize the marriage over here. So I think very good actionable from both of you. Ma'am, would you like to give the
Yes, I'm ready. So I think we're living through a very difficult time at the moment. I think this is on a world basis, and we haven't touched on this at all, but I know that we all have this in the back of our minds. Yeah. And I think the way forward is together. And I think we need to be working together and being open to each other and reaching out and contacting and communicating and seeing what's out there and making most of the opportunities that are available. Because I think here we're talking to schools, we're talking to students, and we're talking to industry partners, and none of us can do it on our own. And we all need each other. So I think this is a great forum to be sharing those ideas and bringing each other together. And I think the way forward is together.
Thank you so much. I really like your suggestion from competition to collaboration. Till now, it's all about you versus me. I think industry is also worried about you versus me, but industry is coming as an association together. BI is helping each other. So it's going to be academy, industry collaboration. Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful suggestion. Friends, my time is up as a moderator, and a moderator's biggest role is to make sure, they don't overshoot the time. But I've been seeing that the whole team is making a lot of notes. I have made a lot of notes, so it's going to be actionable. Let me just wind up before I hand over to the organizers. 3 things that we discussed before we actually, came in for this particular webinar today at 2:30. We've been having a series of discussion with Neville, Sanjay sir, Aslam sir, Rajesh Doshi sir, everybody, all our team members. And we had already discussed about 3 things. And the good news is that at Bombay University also I spoke to the Vice Chancellor. What are the 3 actionables? And we only make it better. He said one is interns, which we already discussed today. The second is research. Okay, let's look at collaborative research. And the third and the most important, the win-win-win situation you spoke about, ma'am, is I want the industrialist to come on the board of companies. Okay, so the industry, the board of universities, because we also have board of studies. The industrialist can actually become advisor to the academia and vice versa. The academia can actually be on the board of companies. So please understand, they're professors, they're teachers, but they're doing research. That's their full-time job. So if you can actually formally not only look at interns, that's the beginning point, but can we look at research programs, maybe something like that. And finally, why don't you be on each other's boards? So be advisors to each other. The industry academic partnership is finally about one word, and that is mutual respect. We require each other, we love each other, and that's why we're together. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to my family on both sides, the academia and the industry, the Bombay Industry Association, for giving me this opportunity to moderate this particular session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pillai. I'll just take a minute to digress from our topic for today. We at BIA, the Bombay Industries Association, are launching a Know Your Member program today. The BIA KYM, as we now in the committee have come to call it, is basically a tool to help us gather data from all our members with a view to increasing trade between our members and provide a platform for networking in a more productive manner amongst members. By this evening, I think we will be sending out mails to everyone to get the process kick-started. And I just request everyone to kind of spend a few minutes and help us gather all this data. Coming back, so we at BIA are actually committed to taking this forward and bridging the gap between academics and industry, creating, like Jack said, a win-win-win situation for all stakeholders. Today's webinar is at best a small stepping stone towards creating an ecosystem wherein industry and academia collaborate and take things forward. On behalf of the entire BIA family, I would like to thank our panelists for spending their valuable time. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Dr. Parag. Thank you, Dr. Pillai. Thank you, Sachin. I think we will take this forward with you, Dr. Parag, and we will figure out a way to sign an MOU and move this forward in a more structured manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ashish, can we just have a final polling done? If
oh,
we'll
sure, absolutely.
The outcome of particular.
Absolutely, Neville.
How interested our industries, So I have some few questions. So can you have that? Launch the poll.
Do we have this? Okay. So it's just a poll that we want to run with all our members. How many of us would be willing to run an internship program for our company? So you could just kind of click in and we can go on further. Neville, you want to take the next question?
Yeah, both the questions are simultaneously. So
okay,
even will appear. You can take the.
Okay.
So both the questions, the panelists are supposed to respond.
Yeah. Which of the following areas would you like to recruit interns for?
The hosts and panelists do not have that option, actually.
Yeah. I'm getting.
Which of the following areas would you like to recruit interns for? Sales, marketing, accounts and finance, planning and production, customer service, or something else? I request everyone to kind of just, spend a minute and submit this so that we get a better picture of.
Around 60% of the people have already responded. I'm waiting, we can wait.
Fantastic.
For another minute. Okay, so I'm ending the poll.
Oh, fantastic. That's very encouraging. 91% would run an internship program in their companies.
Beautiful.
And I think sales and marketing is by far the top choice.
Revenue creator. Revenue creator.
Absolutely. I on the top line.
So the other way of looking at the success of the program is there is not a single no for somebody to try it. There could be doubt.
Yeah,
there could be right. That is to experiment. 91% going for it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Point well taken.
I think that's a very good response.
Yeah. So
Ravi,
friends, thank you.
We also have people opting for planning and production. So you can also take over. Not only social media, but even hardcore marketing, I'm sure. there's a lot of more to do. Thank you so much.
So thank you, friends. We will get in touch with all of you all and figure out a way to take this forward, our internship program. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all the speakers and moderators.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you very much. Thank you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Radha, sir.